Far-Flung Tin Can, we are bridging the gap between two diverse worlds, the Christian home and the mission field, through missions awareness, missions engagement, and worship in everything. We're traveling the world to the most remote places on the planet to find those who have laid down everything to say yes to God. And whoever said missions can't be fun, God is calling. Will you take the call? Far-Flung's been traveling to Ecuador since 2011. In our first film, we met the staff, Lali, Pastor Mendoza, and we met some of the kids that really grew on our hearts, like Mishael. He would come and visit us and play, and we would just have such a good time with him. We came back 6 months later for Christmas and had our first Christmas outreach, handing out gifts to all the kids. I'll never forget giving Mishael a remote control car. He lit up with this toy. We didn't just celebrate Christmas, we painted rooms and tried to upkeep the building as much as we could. At the end of that trip, we made a promise to show videos, visit churches, and tell everybody about this amazing feeding ministry in the slums of Ecuador. And that's what we did. We left Pan de Vida at Christmas 2011. And from that moment on, we told everybody we could about the feeding ministry. We came back and visited it in 2013, actually sent one of Far-Flung members there for 7 months to help serve alongside them. But after that 2013 trip, we continued to fundraise, but we didn't visit Pan de Vida for 4 years. In 2017, it was time to start bringing groups to Pan de Vida to be on the ground, to serve alongside them, and tell many more stories.
So in 2008, when I was still a student at Lee and a member of campus choir, I came to Ecuador on summer tour. It really left a huge impression on me. Every trip I go on, I leave like not wanting to leave. I leave, I always say like there's a piece of me that stays there. But part of that is because of this little boy. His name is Paul. When we came here in 2008, Paul was like maybe 8, and I met him at the feeding ministry. He was a part of that, and as soon as he came through the door, he attached to me, and he followed me around for the next 3 days. And the day we left, he asked me if I was coming back the next day, and I had to tell him no. And he cried, and I cried, and it was a terrible thing to have to leave. Since 2008, a few other trips have happened here. Kyle's been on 2 that I know of, and then a couple more people have come back. And every time I try to get them to find this kid, he probably thinks he's like wanted by the U.S. government or something, but I just want to know how he's doing, and I just want to see him and just, tell him that I've been praying for him, and that, that I love him, and that he's been like such a big part of my heart ever since I came here.
After not visiting for 4 years, there was a lot of work to be done on the building. They just don't have a lot of room in the budget for upkeep and paint and the things that are not essential. And so we love playing a part in helping them upkeep the building and also add new things.
Well, we're eating right now, and this is part of getting the fuel so we can do some work. It's good to feed the body, but now we got to do some work afterwards.
Hi. We're about to paint. It's gonna be so exciting and so fun.
We're gonna show it in real time.
We're gonna get a makeover.
1, 2, 3,
If you're looking for a yes, if you're searching for a vessel, here I am. If you're looking for available, here I am. Here I am. I don't wanna miss it. Call my name and I will listen. Here I am. If you're looking for a willing heart, here I am. Here I am. You can take a risk on me.
We're gonna paint and paint and repaint.
You can take a risk on me. Take a risk on me. I may not have the answers or meet all of the standards, but here I am. If you're looking for available, here I am. Here I am. I just wanna see it. All you need is one believer. Here I am. If you're searching for a willing heart, here I am. Here I am. You can take a risk on me.
this room, I remember in 2011, we were able to give out little dolls and little Matchbox cars to the kids. I will never forget watching their faces, and those little boys, they were so excited. They were running those Matchbox cars on the walls, on the carpet. It was the most amazing thing. So my memories of this room are very sweet.
Are you anxious for the kids to get here?
I am. For the 3 we've met so far, I can only imagine what the 300 coming will be like. So yes, be excited to see them.
The plan today is to paint all the classrooms and finish the cafeteria downstairs. We want to try to get all the classrooms painted before tomorrow when the kids get here. So we're going to work hard and get that done. Pastor Tony is vertically inclined. Emily is vertically challenged. So he's the ceiling taper. And she's the picture taker off the wall.
Because
She can't reach.
how would you describe the last few days of painting?
Labor of love. Really has been a labor of love. You know, because what we're, when you're painting, we're not painting over, we're renewing. That's how I look at it. We're renewing there, and we're not painting over. What was there before was good, but now we've got something new, fresh. Give the kids a fresh perspective when they come in. It's a labor of love when you do things like this, Can't wait to see their faces when they look at these rooms.
We start talking about this kid, Paul, and we show Lolly a picture, and she immediately goes, "Oh yeah, I know who Paul is." And Whitney lights up, gets excited about seeing him. She said he actually is in rehab. And so he was somewhere into the city, and he'd been in rehab for several months now. And so we were like, is there any way that we could go visit him?
The Lord has opened the door, first of all, for us to go and try to find him. We've got a clue as to where he is, and let's just go do it. And I'm like, well, yeah, there ain't nothing stopping us, let's go do it, So that's the only information we had.
We arrange it, we show up at this rehab place, and when we first walk in, he's like not sure who Whitney is. And he's kind of looking at her like maybe looks familiar but wasn't sure. And then she pulls out her phone and shows him the picture, and he just lights up. And we were able to just start talking to him about his life, and he just kept reiterating over and over how much she meant to him. He couldn't believe that she remembered him and that she would go so far to find him. And that is the perfect example of the love of the Father, who never forgets, never gives up, and is always going after us. And we believe it was exactly the push that he needed to get him to get through rehab and start fresh all over again.
Where are we? Where are we? Oh my gosh. That was the longest delay. We're at the equator.
We're at the equator.
Start over. How is it to be at the center of the earth?
Awesome.
I gotta be honest with you, I can't get you both in frame.
The place we were staying at on this trip was 2 hours away from Pan de Vida. Every morning we would get on the bus, drive 2 hours, work all day, and drive 2 hours back to get back to where we were staying for dinner. Years later, we would go on to build apartments in the building. But before then, we had long bus rides and a lot of laughs.
So I went outside, I was going to take a shit. I looked at my pool, and then I stuck out my lip.
All I see is snow. Somebody yelled out. Let's go.
Oh! Get in that pool. I went in the house and got all my fitness.
Saw a hang glider. I wanted to fly. but I couldn't because I had tears in my eyes. And I was cry.
Look how big it is. I know.
So, ow, my ears are popping. Ow! Did you hear that?
Do I hear your own ear popping? No, I
my
definitely don't.
jaw pop! You pushed me to the window, my face in it.
So right now, we are up about 13 and a half, almost 14,000 feet on top of one of the highest peaks in Quito, Ecuador. It's been such an amazing journey. It's been an amazing hike. I can't believe how far up we've come. But that's just been the trip as a whole. It's been such an amazing trip. I'm just in such awe of God's work, what He's been doing in Quito, what He's been doing in Pan de Vida. It's been such a rewarding time to be with the kids. The feeding ministry and what God's doing there is amazing.
So Ecuador has been amazing. We've been the hands and feet of Jesus, and it's changed my life. Every time I go out of the country, it changes my life. And this has been one of my favorite trips here. Far-Flung has been incredible. Just the hands and feet of Jesus, painting walls and loving on kids, and it's just amazing. So it's been one of the best experiences of my life. And we are currently 13,000 feet in the air, hiking and out of breath.
You know, people need to come out here like we did in Ecuador. We had a great time. These kids, you know, your heart will be moved. You will want to just grab them and just make sure that they're protected. That's how I felt being there in Ecuador. So it's been a great trip. Been able to interact with the kids and just do crafts with them and dance with them and have fun with them and just...
If you want to have your life changed, if you want God to reveal things in you that are maybe misplaced or that are out of order, and you want Him to open your eyes to see things you've never seen before, whether that be physically or spiritually, you have to go on these trips.
And just being able to pour out your heart to them and let them know that we care and that most importantly God cares. And I know this is definitely not going to be my last time.
I don't know where you'll lead me, but I will follow you there. You're my compass. I'll follow you anywhere.
I really just got to know Gary, and I didn't know that Gary is an adventurer like me. And he went to go hiking, and he just disappears. And we had to go. We had a time. We had to get down.
Marion is too, but Marion's a teeny. Oh my gosh.
What's going on? What's going on right now?
We are looking for Gary and Seth. Gary decided to go up the mountain thinking we would catch up to him, and Seth got worried, so he went behind him. And now we've climbed up as high as we think we can go, and we can't find them.
And now it's about to thunderstorm.
We're getting sucked into a cloud.
And we're getting pretty worried because it's probably going to be nighttime by the time we get all the way down.
And the sun was setting, and we were waiting and yelling, Gary, Gary.
Gary!
Someone said,
So finally, after 30 minutes, I just said, okay, Gary, we'll never forget you. And then just out of the fog, like Moses coming off the mountain, comes Gary.
We found you guys! Oh my gosh.
Oh, they found us, I guess.
I was so worried. Gary, I was so worried.
Oh no.
Gary! Oh, here. Gary!
Oh, Carl! I thought I'd never see you again. Oh.
Did you twist something?
Wrong. There's a winding.
Are you hurt?
To keep this from happening.
Woo! Woo!
Gary, give me a yell!
Woo!
Pan de Vida feeds hundreds of kids throughout the week. We love supporting this project. It's awesome to be able to send the funds because I know what happens there, but it's just such a delight to be able to get in the kitchen and work with Pastor Mendoza and the cooks and serve them food and see what it means on the ground for these kids to eat. A lot of kids, this will be the only meal they get during the day.
Get the kids in, once they're seated, they pray, we sing song with them, and then they get their food and they're ready. And look at this But you gotta, these women are something else. Just, you know, the labor of love. So yeah, it's an assembly line. It's an efficient process. Very efficient.
Awesome. Especially when you got Chief Gary here putting plates on his head. Can you do 5 today?
I'm gonna go for 5.
Okay, we are filling the boys' bags with bouncy balls. They're so pretty.
How many bags do we have?
Probably like more than 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than
400.
100. 400 actually.
And what are we doing with them?
We are going to give them to the kids on Thursday or Friday.
What's happening?
We're handing out shirts to all the kids that someone from Tony and Emily's church, they donated them. So all the kids get a new t-shirt to wear. And it's awesome.
Do they seem excited about it?
Yeah, one little girl just came up and asked Emily, like, is this for me? Yeah, like, is this mine?
What's going on?
Handing out shirts, Vacation Bible shirts. All things were created by him and for him. For all of the kids.
They seem pretty pumped about it?
I am pretty pumped about it. I'm pretty pumped about the kids in general.
Well, Lifeway does a great curriculum for Vacation Bible School, and you know this was called Galaxy Starveyors is the name of the program, and it's about from creation to the fall of man to Christ's coming. It's a series of messages, a series of crafts and things that we do with the kids to let them know about God created them, and particularly the shirt says all things were created by him and for him.
For those first few years of Far-Flung, going to Pan de Vida was such a highlight, and I always looked for Mishael. I always brought him a gift. But over the last 4 years, I hadn't been able to talk to him since I wasn't there. And I was just hoping I'd be able to see him, and sure enough, he shows up.
So this guy walks in the gate, and I'm like, oh, how you doing? He kind of like tries to interact with me, and I was in a hurry. I was like, okay. And I walked on. So he just came up again, and I was like, is that Mishael? And I didn't recognize him at all. 14?
Yeah.
14?
Yeah.
So when we came to Pan de Vida in 2011, Mishael was like our first visitor. Program wasn't going on. He would just show up at our door with rabbits. And, like he would just bring random things.
Traías cosas.
So
He said when you gave him a Scooby-Dooby-Doo? Aww. And cars
and
too.
the race, 1 year we gave him a race car.
Y una pista de carros también.
With the remote control.
Yes. Every year you'd bring him something, he said. I told him you think about him all the time. And he said it's been 4 years and I haven't been able to connect again.
I brought a hard drive so I could show him the footage from when he was a little kid. He says he still had the race car.
Ahora dice que lo tenés que ir a buscar. ¿Tenés? ¿Tenés? Ahora lo tenés que ir a buscar. Tenés que ir a buscar acá. Yo no sé dónde está, pero vamos a buscar.
One of the great things about doing missions work in the same place and investing time over the years is that, and even though the kids grow up and they change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but you still have that connection and relationship with them. There's a trust, and they know that even though we go away and we come back, and go away and come back, they know that you care. They know that you believe in them. Sometimes that's the best thing that you can give them.
Last year in Emily,
I was tagged 1,000 times in a conference I knew nothing about with people I knew nothing about. And on faith, I came. I went to the conference, and the Lord, spoke to me. Holy Spirit spoke to me that I would meet destiny there, and I did. I was invited by Far-Flung to come where we are now in Pan de Vida.
Hey, you want to go to Ecuador? Come on up, I got a ticket for you.
Where we've been here for 7 days, where we have done everything from chipping paint off of walls, to repainting walls, to painting walls again, to feeding hundreds of children, to doing children's church. And it's just been nothing but a blessing of how, in return, we were meant to be a blessing, and we were, but how we have been blessed in return is so overwhelming, as you guys can see. So thank you, Far-Flung, thank you, Kyle, thank you, Sean and Andrea. Just thank you, because I believe that this is a catalyst in my life for change.
One of the things Kyle asked me to do on that particular trip was to do a message during the Kids Crusade.
We had a big gathering with all the kids, and we wanted to teach them a lesson. And I asked Gary if he would bring a sermon.
And then God has given us the Bible. The Bible teaches us about Jesus. But sometimes when people stand up and try to teach you the Word of God, Satan tries to keep you from hearing.
He did some feats of strength. He pulled up a kid volunteer, and he was so cute.
But you have to hold on to it with both hands.
He taught on not letting go of your dreams, and the kid kept letting go of this rag, and eventually he got the point. And so when the lesson was over, he still wouldn't let go of the rag.
All right. Did he do good holding on to the strings? Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. You can let go now.
But that particular event was very, it was the thing that sealed it for me when I was able to do the Kids Crusade, because up until that point, I'm called to be an evangelist and I'm called to go, but I received from that a specific call to Quito, Ecuador, and that place is always going to be a part of my heart. So it's a place where I got my heart broke, if you will, during that crusade, because I really was able to come into contact with and feel, if you will, or empathize with the plight of those kids. And I was telling somebody that it's just like their love tank was empty, and they needed the love of Jesus to impact them. And so when we were doing this illustrated message and the altar call started, that's where I really felt like I'm called to this particular area. I'm called to this ministry, and I'm called to this people. And it's almost like, I was doing what God called me to do, and there was benefits to that, but the big benefit was it changed me. So that's the irony of it. I was preaching in order to introduce them to Christ and give them an opportunity to receive Christ, but it got reversed on me, and I ended up getting my heart broke, and it just kind of sealed the deal for me, in that moment whenever we were doing the Kids Crusade. And so every trip I go on, I'm like, man, Lord, please let Kyle ask me to do the Kids Crusade again, because it's kind of the center point, if you will. It's the epicenter. For me, it's the crux, if you will, of the ministry that I feel like my contribution, if you will, to the Far-Flung trip. So I love doing those because it impacted me as much as it did those kids.
That's the end of this trip, but it's not the last. Far-Flung is committed to Pan de Vida for many, many years to come. We'll be bringing many groups time and time again. You might be watching this right now, and you might be on the next trip. We believe that God is moving in the neighborhood of Ayacucho. He's bringing hope and light to a dark place. And we're honored that we get to be a part of that story.